Yes. Hello, welcome to King Learning. My name is Juan Sebastian Garcia, and we are in the Mobile Device Management Fundamentals class. On this episode, we're going to look at the profile management for mobile device management, where the security is what really matters with MDM devices. So let's think about the security and talk about security hardening of devices. Basically, your phone, if it's outside your company, it's outside your business, you need to protect it. You don't want information to be leaked. So, a couple of things that the MDM will do for you is it'll enforce a strong password policy on devices to adhere to enterprise security standards. In other words, when you put in an MDM in place for all your mobile devices, not only we have the password for the phone to be blocked or unblocked, but you could have a second password to access either documents or apps or even a browser. And that's how cool this is, because typically, when you don't have an MDM, you have one password on your local phone, but there's no passwords to access all apps, which is make it more exposed to vulnerabilities and exploits, and the hacker will get to your phone and just steal all your data. So think about as password encryption and strong password as a security of a device that will bring your security to your business. Now, they will relieve users from password using a single sign-on. Sometimes you could enable single sign-on on an MDM. You could prevent authorized users to access data only on trusted Wi-Fi's, for example. I could just enable certain things on the phone if I want to, not to enable other Wi-Fi's, just a few of them that I just enable. Those things I could control with an MDM. You could essentially have contacts or calendars synchronized with employees, like, the Outlook calendar or the email and so on. You could disable basic functionality such as the Bluetooth, such as the camera. Maybe you could disable phone calls. You don't want to make phone calls through the local network. I'm talking about the cellular network. You could disable those if you may. Now, you could disable SMS if you don't want it, because a lot of attacks are happening also with SMS messages. Now, you could also enable that the external storage wouldn't work. In other words, if you connect your phone through the USB port, it's not going to work. It's not going to recognize it because the MDM is taking control of that capability on your phone. Or you could do something like not having the user be able to do a factory reset on that phone. So those are pretty neat features that, it's been tested out for years for the security team of IBM or the security team of a MDM system. But guess what? If you put this in place, you're going to feel very, very secure. Now let's talk about app management for mobile device management. Now the apps, like I said, you could download apps on a regular phone. You could download WhatsApp Messenger, maybe Signal Messenger, maybe Wickr Messenger. You could download maybe games. You could download a lot of apps. But guess what? You need to control those apps. If you're running your business and you have 100, 200, 1,000 people with mobile devices, and you're not controlling their apps, your business could be in a lot of risks, because that information these people are using, your sales team is using, they could be hacked, they could be leaked, and all of a sudden all your important documents are gone and the damage is already done. So remember, you need a tight policy for your device. So with app management, you could create, maintain enterprise apps and a catalog containing only the apps that you want. It could be enterprise apps or not enterprise apps, but you control those apps. Now you could just buy those apps, via the Google Play or maybe Apple Business. But you control them. Now, you have business apps or enterprise apps, or even if you develop your own app, you could put it in place with security with the MDM. Now, you can manage app licenses, revoke licenses, and so on. Now, here's the good thing. You could install or uninstall apps without any user intervention. In other words, you don't need to go to the phone physically, download the app, install the app. No, you could do it from the cloud, from the MDM cloud, which is pretty handy, pretty awesome. Now, you could also blacklist. You could say, hey, you can only download these apps, period. You're not allowing that user to download games. You could control that. So think about this as a very handy security tool for all your mobile devices. It's a pretty cool feature. Now, for app management, you could also lock down devices to have a specific app that you approve, and that's it. In other words, when I typically implement MDM for my users, I normally just enable what I need. I don't enable them, to have games that they don't need that might have malware. I only enable maybe Signal for security reasons, and maybe, Exchange apps, Office 360 apps, done. You don't want that user to be playing with other apps that is going to inject malware into your system. Now, it'll restrict users from installing corporate apps. There is no drop in productivity. Of course, productivity relies on the phone. If you are able to download any app, you might have the employee just downloading what he doesn't need, and that could be a potential waste of time. So it also helps for that. Now, it restricts users from updating specific apps, ensuring critical apps they're deployed without any user intervention. Now, predefined apps, you could configure permissions and be ready for installation. Now, the other thing is deploy enterprise apps. It's a good thing to have enterprise apps in your phone. Well, the MDM will manage those apps with a lot of security. All right. So thank you and see you on the next episode.